What's up, you guys? It's Team APS. Remember the last time we went over Union monsters? We talked about their strengths, their weaknesses, and how we thought they could be better.
Yeah, well, in today's video, we're going to talk about another obscure subtype, Gemini monsters.
Gemini monsters. You know, those monsters that they're required to be summoned twice in order to get their effects. They're these normal monsters, but have these secret powers and abilities inside of them, which require a second summon.
Yeah, they're unassuming. And like the other ones we've been talking about, LVs a long time ago and Unions, they're kind of obscure. They've kind of been forgotten about. I mean, we still get a couple here and there, but not really.
The mechanic is it's kind of dead. Let's just say it's kind of dead. It's not fully dead. It's it's like nearly headless Nick. He's not completely headless. He's near.
That's actually a perfect analogy. So I've got the text for Gemini monsters here just to kind of provide a bit of context for what we're talking about here. Okay, so they all say this card is treated as a normal monster while face up on the field or in the graveyard. While this card is a normal monster in the field, you can normal summon it to have it become an effect monster with this effect. Insert effect here. So, like you're saying, you have to summon the monster once, and while it's on the field or in the grave, it's just normal, it doesn't have any effects. Then you have to summon it again, and it gets some cool, hidden secret abilities. Woo! But there are some problems.
Yeah, you get the inherent weaknesses of it needs to survive a full turn before you can even get that effect.
Yeah, we all know in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, for something to survive a full turn without providing you with any benefit in the process is hard. Another thing would be just the slowness. So the protection of it, but also the slowness where
it takes forever to get plays off.
It takes forever to get your strategy started. Because I was thinking earlier, we were brainstorming the video, and I was like, if you think about it, you have to summon this monster, and then wait a full turn, your next turn, normal summon the monster again to give it its effect. So you're not getting any board advancement.
You're not getting another monster, it's the same guy.
And then the next turn, you summon another monster. And it doesn't have its effect. And then the next turn you summon it. And now you finally have two monsters in the field.
4 turns later, you've lost the game, but you have two monsters.
You've gotten OTK'd by, Cosmos or whatever, and now you have, that's an issue. That's slow.
But on top of that issue is their effects are also weak.
Yeah.
So you put in all that time just to get that effect. It's that mediocre once per turn effect.
I'm trying to think of a good one.
Gigaplant?
Gigaplan's one of the better ones, yeah.
But
some aren't even that good.
True, and I don't even want to talk about the ones that are worse than I feel that Gigaplant's effect should be the line. Nothing worse than that should exist.
I know there's that one really bad one, Dark Valkyria or whatever, and it's a Gemini, and it has 1850 attacks, so kind of meh. And then when you Gemini summon it,
for the time that was decent.
It gets a token like Breaker the Magical Warrior, which gives it 200, 300 more attack, and you can remove that token and maybe do something, but that's all. You go through so much effort, and let's not forget the next big weakness is the fact that when you normal summon this thing again, it can still get bottomless.
Yeah,
warning.
Your opponent can let you just think you're gonna do something and then not.
Yeah, trap hole. I mean,
there's no defense for those cards.
Yeah, so these guys have some issues outside of being slow and not having any protection and being underwhelming. The fact of the matter is, when you finally get it all said and done, they're just
underwhelming.
Yeah, that's just not worth it.
Now, wait, I do want to talk about one benefit that we now can even have: pendulum summoning, that has given us a way to get these guys on board a lot faster. You still can only get one of them.
They're summoned, which is something we're going to talk about later on. But yeah. So pendulums.
Yeah, pendulum summoning.
Another good thing is something that's an existing strength is being considered normal monsters on the field, and especially in the grave, can help with some support. They're able to use Swing of Memories and similar cards like that. Dragon Shrine, if there are more dragons, you can
there are some
send
dragons,
one.
man, but
there aren't many. But
let's actually talk about some of the support.
So they have a couple of support cards. We only picked. Okay, so preface, they have several traps that are pretty powerful, and a few monsters, but most of them rely on like the Gemini monster already being on the field or something. These are the 2 cards we thought were kind of most potent. You can do the first one.
Let me get the load. Super double summon.
Oh yeah.
Select 1 Gemini monster you control and normal summon it. During the end phase of this turn, return it to your hand.
That's a quick play, right?
Yes, I have to say, quick play spell. I always love a quick play spell.
Yeah.
Unless it's a Gemini card.
Yeah, so it immediately gives your monster its effect. Cool. Then at the end of the turn, it bounces it back? What?
Like,
why?
You take, this card is literally 1 step forward and then 2 steps back. Like, the card, it's not meant to help you win games.
It's like already a neg just activating it, and then at the end of the turn, like you lose the thing. It can't even just, like how about at the end of the turn, like it just loses the effect? Nope, it literally boing.
Yeah, it's gone. Like.
And the other one is another quick play spell, Unleash Your Power. Cool. All Gemini monsters that were on your side of the field when this card is activated are treated as effect monsters and gain their effects. So basically better than that in every way. So I guess this was made later. During the end phase of this turn, set all monsters affected by this card. So technically it's better than like the first one, but still like they're so intent on like giving you a very brief moment of like use.
Why you gotta balance these cards,
yeah,
man?
These are really highly balanced. I'm not even gonna get into the spells and the other traps and all that stuff. Let's talk it. We have notes. We have thought.
Oh wait,
several.
let me preface by saying we know Gemini Spark exists.
Yeah, Gem Spark is good.
We know it exists.
Yeah.
We're just not talking about it.
They didn't talk about Gem Spark or idiots. Okay, my first complaint, or my first correction. We're done with complaints.
Yeah.
I don't think they should count as your once per turn normal summon. I think that a Gemini summon should be its own thing, where like
own mechanic.
Maybe you have to wait a turn to do it, but doing it should not be a normal summon. I don't like the idea, kind of back in that analogy I said of where like it takes 4 turns to get these things out.
That's a little much.
I don't like to get like say 2 of them. I don't like the idea of like you have to summon it, and then when you normal summon it, that's your normal summon for the turn.
And then next turn, to get the Gemini effect, you normal summon it again. And then that's your normal summon for the turn.
So I feel like they should make a Gemini mechanic, even if it's not something you can do multiple times per turn, and even if it means like you have to wait a turn to do it, I think that when you do it, it shouldn't count as a normal summon. I think that makes perfect sense. It could be considered some type of special summon, and that's fine. But for it to slow you down to that much of a crawl is extremely...
Yo, I need some broken effects. As much work as you have to put into some of these things, because as we said, it's basically 4 turns of work.
It's basically summoning sickness.
Summoning sickness.
It's almost what it is. Like it's where like you summon this thing, and you can't actually use it until the next turn.
I want to see some busted effects, because it takes 2 turns for you just to get the effect off. The monster might not even be around.
Make it unfair.
Yeah, make it unfair. Because these are vanilla monsters on the field before they get their effects, so they can't protect themselves. So that next effect needs to be crazy. I want to see board wipes.
I feel like we need to have like negation, board wipes, like
then protection on top there.
Yeah, like quick play things that you can chain them and do. Yeah, and protection like.
I'm not saying one card should have like 4 or 5 effects. What I'm saying is this Gemini monster says when he's Gemini summoned, none of your Gemini monsters can be targeted.
Or like when he's Gemini summoned, he pops like 2 cards in your opponent's on the field.
That could be the other one. And this one, when he's Gemini summoned, all Geminis gain like 1500 attack.
Yeah, stuff's gotta be unfair.
Give them like just fat effects that actually would mean something. For all the work you put in, I don't want to make a Gemini monster and he's like, I pop a card.
I think the protection part's especially important because like we said, you know, if this thing can just get bottomless or trap-hold as soon as you resummon it, these things should literally just be like, they can't be targeted or like, you know, they're unaffected by traps the turn that they're Gemini summoned or something.
I mean, those effects have been happening in Yu-Gi-Oh! More often lately,
yeah,
so give it to them.
Everything has a whole non-targetable, unaffected by your opponent's card effects. Another thing, I think, and this might not necessarily apply to the lower level ones, but with high level Gemini, so say it's like a level 6 or a level 8 one, with level 6 one, you have to tribute summon it to normal summon it. And then next turn you can resummon it. And you don't have to tribute for that. But because you had to take all those negs and wait all that time, I think that the level 6 or at least level 8 and higher ones that are 2 tributes, their summon can't be negated. I think they should have that clause. That is not new. There are cards.
They're Gemini summon or
they're Gemini summon.
Oh, okay.
That's not a new mechanic. There are cards that like, you know, their summon like cannot be negated and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They should have that. Like the high level one should, their summon can't be negated, and like they're almost like Obelisk the Tormentor or something, where like the turn they've been summoned, or like spells and traps can't, you know, like be like. it sounds crazy, but these things are slow and cumbersome.
I want to see when like you Gemini summon this guy and he locks your opponent out of his extra deck. Like I want it to be that busted. That's just me, man.
What is another?
Like we mentioned, Dragon Shrine. Make some Gemini dragons, man.
Yeah, because Dragon Shrine works with them, they might as well make an archetype of like Gemini dragons, so that way you can like get them in the grave.
Because you know, like the most common strategy with Gemini is, you know, get them to the grave, like call them back, and then give the effect. It's slow as hell, but it was a thing.
And you mentioned Summoner's Art earlier, right?
Yes. And
it doesn't work with them.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's terrible.
They need a Rhoda. Give Gemini. Okay. I know maybe 5 years ago this might have seemed like some draconian idea, but a Rhoda is fine. Like, so many things have a Rhoda now. Heretics literally have the card, their seal of convocation, that just grabs any of them.
Practically word for word.
It's just a Rhoda. Give Gemini's a Rhoda. Just search a Gemini monster from your deck to your hand. I get it, there might be some like small monsters where that can get broken because, like, you know, the red eyes thing is a Gemini.
Yeah, true.
But well, I'm sorry. Even if it's like a level 4 or lower Gemini, say it's something like that. But a spell that just grabs onto your hand. Don't make it slow and weird. Just, you know.
I'm gonna latch on that and say give him a Stratos.
Yeah.
A Gemini summon Stratos.
That could be quite good.
It's not even that great for them. It's so slow.
Yeah, it'd be slow, but hey,
it's something.
I would say, okay, so they have some existing support that's okay. There's like Black Brute Drago, which is the synchro that it can like pitch one and pop a spell or trap, and then when it dies, you get a Gemini from your grave with its effect already given. Kind of slow, kind of cumbersome. Blazewing Butterfly has a Gemini effect, where like when a Gemini summoned, you contribute it to summon a Gemini from your grave with its effect already given. And there's the Super Alloy Beast Fusion, which gives them all their effects. Those are a start.
I like his name.
Things just need to be like faster and just sped up is my big gripe with it. Like, we shouldn't have to waste time like making these things. Why don't they just have a field spell that just they all just get their effects? And then you can just use terraforming.
Why not?
Fuck, I mean,
that's what field spells are now anyway. They're just blanket effects that they're not even what they used to be, where, you know, it affects both players equally, all these gain attack or all these. No, it's now just a mechanic to help one deck succeed. So do it. Give them all their effects and then like give them some attack points too. Okay, give them like
how about this? I'll be nice. I'll be balanced. How about something slow where it's like it gets a counter every time you Gemini summon a monster, and like, you know, the counters can maybe be protected from destruction. You can remove but hear me out.
So slow.
Yeah, but hear me out. And like you can remove the counters to search Gemini monsters, and maybe once there's a certain amount, they automatically all get effects. So like,
I think Konami's making that like real soon. That sounds so slow. That
actually sounds too balanced. Yeah, screw it. Just make it. Just give them their effects automatically.
Make it broken, because in Yu-Gi-Oh it's not good.
And they gain 1 million attacks. You know,
if it's not broken, it's not playable.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's the big issue with Yu-Gi-Oh is like, you know, if stuff's not broken, it's not good. So, you know, that's I hate to say it, but that's what they should do with Geminis. Is just don't hold any punches. Like, just make things unfair. Like, these things are slow. And
I know, you know, we did the same thing with Unions. We're talking about it now with Geminis. But let's be honest, they've done it before. They broke Ritual Stunning with Necross. So they've already shown us that
they have more than proven.
They can make a mechanic good.
They can make it consistent, fast.
So we're just here giving them ideas on how to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Geminis at this point, they could use a revamp. Like with everything, they could use a revamp. So, that was fun. That is our rant. Discussion on Gemini monsters, how we think they could get better. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comments. How could they improve Geminis? What, you know, would be an idea for an archetype?
Also, you know, drop your favorite Gemini down too.
Yeah, that as well. And buy a mat. Check out TCG Player. Subscribe for Yu-Gi-Oh! In our Shining Victories contest.
Did you even say like the video?
Do that too. Bye. That was great.